Sup, Gloomers? So today, we have finally the launch of the backer kit for Gloomhaven 2nd edition, the RPG, and of course, miniatures of Gloomhaven. Did I write a script for this? No, but I'm just really excited on all the new things that they're announced with this new backer kit campaign, including all the wonderful things about it. Like, oh my goodness, there's so much. So I'll try to be brief. I mean, I'm going to inevitably fail and talk for way too long. So before I jabber too much, let's just get into it. Remember, if you want to be kept up to date with all things Gloomhaven RPG, miniatures, 2nd edition, or even Frosthaven, be sure to subscribe and be sure to hit like or join us on Patreon. It really helps. A refined experience, this new edition of Gloomhaven takes the classic game and elevates it to a new level with rebalanced and redesigned characters, monster scenarios, and a rewritten story, all new art and graphic design, and a new faction reputation system. I'm actually particularly excited about it. I do love the new characters. I personally think that this is awesome, and just the new campaign feels like a new experience. I didn't do a lot of the campaign testing, but I did get to see and play so many of the characters, and some of the characters that I wasn't really enthused about before, now I love, and it's all the characters I previously loved, I still do. So if that's any statement, the stuff is good. That's the short version. But even taking a look at some of these, including renaming the Bruiser and Silent Knife, as a heads up, don't sing the song Silent Night and replace all the words night with knife. Makes the song really creepy. But as we can see, all the new starters, they look great. I'm not going to talk about the lock classes, but I've already gone over 2nd edition, some of the characters in detail. But ultimately, I'm super enthused, and I think the one thing I really want to talk about is here. The new faction reputation tracks. Instead of just having one reputation track, we now have the demons, military, and merchants. I love how this works out because giving people different rewards for their choices in the campaign is huge. Not only that, but it kind of changes how you play the game a little bit. And instead of saying like, hey, I want to try this new reputation thing, but I don't want to take reputation, and it doesn't matter. They're all great choices. And because that, it gives you player agency. Now, some people were saying, hey, this one campaign we tried to be the bad guys or whatever like that, and the events didn't pay off. We tried to do the good guys. Being good guys is always better. And in general it is, but you can side with the demons, and it's not going to be like, oh no, we're going to take you back. No, you get cool rewards from the demonic reputation. It's sweet. Plus with the new design, we clearly have, hey look, a new scenario book and a new section book. And these are going to just, they make the campaign flow so much better. And if you look at the items that are going to be the rewards from this, not only have we revamped and rebalanced the items, but we actually have 20 new ones as introduced to you, which is fantastic. And of course, they're bringing back the campaign tracker from Frosthaven, which I think is super good. There's something I thought that was really weird about Gloomhaven, having like that tiny party sheet and then having the stickers on the map, and they're all in different places, having everything in one cohesive place. Love it. While this campaign also includes a second print run of Frosthaven, there will also be a Frosthaven Plays Surface book set. The Jaws of the Lion map book was wildly popular, and now we're getting it in Frosthaven, and that'll be released alongside the second printing. Guess what though? Gloomhaven 2nd edition will also be receiving this treatment. It isn't yet development yet, so you can't pledge for it yet, but I'll update you as soon as I know. Ultimately, I'm super enthused about 2nd edition. I think the other videos I've done on it has already done. We've already said enough about this, and I think we need to move on to the next product. Also, taking a look at the schedule for cool things coming out soon. We have Chatting with Cephalofair, which is going to be on the 21st, which I'm super excited about. Obviously, if you looked at the stream, I was on it. Haha! Which role-playing's fun. I really like my character design, and I can't wait to play her some more. I really feel really good about this. I think we add a lot of silly characters, and I think ultimately that just makes it a more enjoyable watch rather than everyone being serious, dark, and brooding. I know my character's a little dark and brooding, but need some variety in the group, right? But expect another session on that very soon. And on the 23rd, we have miniature painting, which I think that personally, I love watching paint dry, but that's not for everyone. But if that's up your alley, we've got that coming forward to. But if this is something you want to try, I'll be at Origins this week from the 22nd to 25th, I think, and I will be running demos of the RPG as a Gloom Master. We're going to be running this really cool short scenario, which you could take. I'll guide you through for 2 hours, and I personally think it's going to be super fun. So be sure to stop by the Cephalofair booth early and get a spot for that. There will be only pre-generated characters because unlike Gloomhaven, character creation takes a little bit of time, but I assure you the adventure is super fun and you should join us. I think something that's really cool is a lot of people have been asking, hey, I want to know more about the world of Gloomhaven. And like, you kind of dig a little bit in like in town records. Frosthaven had a little bit more, but ultimately there's just not a lot of information out there. The Gloomhaven RPG book is actually going to be full of pages and pages of story about of all the different ancestries, of all the different cities, and kind of develop the world for you. This allows you to at the very least, maybe you're not interested in role playing, but it's just a big lore book, which I'm personally super enthused about. I have been badgering Isaac a lot, and totally not for my fan fiction. Absolutely not for that. There's so much wonderful lore on the setting, and just being able to share that finally, I'm so excited because it's such a wonderful world, and being able to share that is just great. And it's not just the world. There's actually going to be fun maps, and you get to see the breakdown of various cities and various regions, and explore outside of the northeastern area of Casskia, where we have Frosthaven and Gloomhaven, and we finally get to see more what's in the Misty Sea, what's in the southern. Are we finally going to see the Red Desert? The answer is yes. Forever DMs everywhere like me are going to get stuck with writing new wonderful things in this world. But if writing isn't your forte, there's a big adventure already built into it. It's supposed to take 20 hours to do. And so if you're hey, writing's not my forte, don't worry, we've already done some work for you. And they made the promise they're going to be supporting this product with more modules. So if writing isn't your thing, but playing the game is, oh boy, they're going to have plenty of modules for you to play in the world of Casskia. Just a heads up, if you are pledging the RPG book, that's $30. That's a great book, but it does not come with everything you need to play. Be sure to get the deluxe kit because you will need those ancestry cards. Just a heads up, that's very important. Something that's actually really cool about this game, just as a heads up though, your character's class determines a lot of their proficiencies, and your character's ancestry gives you access to unique skill as well. And you unlock this very interesting combination of characters, and then you build in backgrounds, and your skills and your attributes all combine to these relatively controlled attribute checks that are, although they're fairly narrow in what they can do, you still have levels of ability to get through these challenges, and you might be able to stumble through them with different successes or not. But the cool part I really like about this is just involving your background, involving your character's choices, rather than just, back in the third edition where basically anyone could take any skill, but some were cross-class and you were never good at these certain types of skills. Just allowing you to say, hey, my background allows me to pick this. Hey, my ancestry's good at this. Hey, my class is good. You can use this whole buffet and build the character that you want in this world. And a lot of it is focused on this ability to handle out of combat encounters, because the combat design is very similar. If you've seen, it uses 2nd edition cards with just a few modifications. But the combat shines because it's not just this long dungeon crawl of hey, we're gonna play through the scenario and it's gonna take 2 or 3 hours. No, this allows you to play through combat relatively quickly. Whatever you use in that combat, the discards and losses, and all of that carries over into a thing called stamina. If you burn yourself out in combat, you might not be effective with skills. If you burn yourself out during the skill phase, you may have losses that happen in combat. So you still need to be careful. But at the same time, combat isn't just Gloomhaven. Here, set up the board and play Gloomhaven. There's going to be ways where hey, can I do this thing? And in Gloomhaven, if you're hold on, there's these obstacles here. I think my background allows me to do thing, and maybe I can swing on a chandelier and kick him in the face, knock him prone, or do stuff like that, or even kick a guy's weapon away. The GM will be you know what? That's cool. That's a this check. You're gonna roll it. It's roll a finesse check right now. People oh crap. That's not something, you don't suddenly stop combat in Gloomhaven to say, hey, we're gonna roll an attribute check to see how successful you are or how successful you're not. You might suffer some backlash for the failed check, or there's so many different possibilities, just like an RPG. And I love that aspect of this. We can take a look here at one of the characters that Isaac has built, a Tinkerer, and ultimately see that this character isn't just a Gloomhaven character where you're hey, I'm this character and I get some perks. And don't worry, you get some perks, they're on the next page. But on this is just the information you get during character creation. And you'll unlock new cards, some from your ancestry and some from your class, and make this wonderful and unique character. Also, the GM being able to pick some cards is super cool, because every now and then as a forever DM, I'd always love to be like, hey, guess what they're doing, and see how they react to it. Of course, the GM doesn't need to be adversarial. There's ways on how you can handle this, and it guides you through how to properly get characters through this, and it's a pretty easy transition. Anyone who's familiar playing Dungeons & Dragons, especially 4th edition, should be really familiar with this system. And oh boy, look at all these miniatures, which first off are great for upgrading your game. First off, I love the standees, but I do love painting miniatures. I think this is super great, but some people are not going to be super into this. But imagine all the fun stuff you can do in the Gloomhaven RPG. Like, seriously, there's so many options. You can use any combination. You can bring back some of these boxes. Even then, you can kind of customize monsters how you want. And I love... One of the things I love about 4th edition Dungeons & Dragons is I made custom bosses. I think that shined through to my group, and I had some very intricate encounters, and those were some of the most memorable fights in there. And not only that, but it wasn't always just big boss fights and stuff like that, but there were other elements I'd like to throw in there. So imagine taking some of these scenarios in Gloomhaven and adding your own personalized twist to it, and that's something I'm really looking forward to. As a matter of fact, I've already been designing some. I'm going to be testing it, which I'm super enthused about. So once I finish my little story, I'm going to be running a group through it, and who knows, maybe I'll be able to share that adventure. I might actually try to publish a module, and maybe people will be able to try it out. I personally think that sounds super fun, and let me know if that's something you'd like to see, once the game's actually published. Holy crap, look at all these miniatures. There's so many of them. Look at that cutie McTootie little vermling. Oh, he's so cute. Just the cutest little boy. But I'm a huge fan of all of these. I'm probably going to get out the contrast paints because I'm going to be honest, although there's a lot of them here, I'm not going to want to put a bunch of detail on all of them, so I'm going to probably slap chop the crap out of them. I did really want to see the new Inox miniatures, but I don't have access to them yet. But even then, it's not just monsters, but you got summons, you got Frosthaven miniatures, Jaws, Forgotten Circles. I thought they would have forgotten that. Please don't kill me for that. Ultimately, this gives you the opportunity to play whatever you want in Gloomhaven. You can pull out all the summons, all the characters, you can pull out any monster that's in any part of the system, and you can bring this to life in the RPG. And that's something I'm super excited about. Also, I'm definitely going to be painting some of these bosses, and I really want to see, I have some custom terrain, so I'm going to try to see what leveled up Gloomhaven's going to look like when we have full miniatures and full... Oh, I'm so excited. I might need to get some walls or something to really level it up, but I'll take some pictures when I'm done. But there's a lot of Gloomhaven miniature sets. You can, you can a la carte or just grab them all. Even though we've got the big box set. Look at all these. Look at everything that comes in the big one, which is huge. I'm super excited for it. This is a great campaign, and ultimately in the upcoming weeks, we're going to get more details on all of them. And I love to see these miniatures painted, so that's super cool. If it wasn't aware from me appearing on the screen, I do have a close relationship with Cephalofair. If there's something you want to see shown off, let me know in the comments. A bunch of people have been asking, I want to see circles, I want to see circles. I'm asking them, can we show off circles? Or let me show off circles. That would be super cool, but who knows what they're going to do, but I'd love to share that with you. But if you have any other suggestions for me to ask, please let me know in the comments. What are you really enthused about? Also let me know. I love hearing people get super excited, because that's kind of just my default state. I hope you keep being amazing. I will be at Origins. I'll be doing a couple updates. I'm going to be showing off some of the RPG cards while I'm there. So be excited for that and be ready. That's only going to be a few days away. Oh my goodness, it's almost here. I'm literally driving down tomorrow. So stick around for that. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. I'm going to be doing lots of updates on this, and hit like. It really helps. And of course, thank all of you for being amazing. And sign up for Patreon if you want to support us. Speaking of Patreon, thank you to our Inox tier patrons. All of you are amazing. Oh my goodness. You're so wonderful. There's been so many new ones this year, this month even, and I just really appreciate all of you. You're wonderful, and thank you for helping support what I do. So thank you so much, and thanks all of you for watching.
The Bruiser is now has much more daddy energy going on than the original artwork.
Yeah. Anyway.